are live. Good morning out on the West Coast. Good afternoon out on the East Coast. I'm just checking the audio to make sure that everything is coming through smooth. So, if you could be so kind as to give me a quick thumbs up, I'm going to shift over just a little bit just to make sure that I'm centered on the camera. It looks like I am. Today, we are going to go over some basics on how to wholesale real estate. I know that there's a lot of people that already have a general understanding of it, but the how to get started and how to do it sometimes are two completely different things. So I'm going to sit tight and just let the algorithm kick in. As you know, I like doing a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the actual training. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the slides that I presented for you. Again, one of the things that I like to do is I like to be a little creative, and so I enjoy creating the presentation in this format because it helps me stay organized and it helps me stay on track and on time, and it gives me an opportunity to be creative. So I get to work on these slides for you. If you ever want a copy of these slides, don't hesitate reaching out to me. Send me a direct message. Let me know that you'd like them, and I can get these slides to you. So we're going to be talking about how to wholesale real estate, and the first thing I want to talk a little bit about is the very first slide, which is the image that I created. What I went to Google Labs or to Google FX, Image FX, my prompt was, give me an image of millennial hipsters who are planting a flag or raising a flag with a flagpole similar to the Marines memorial statue and the Marine Corps memorial statue, where you've got the Marines who are on a pile of rubble, I believe, during the World War II era, and they're planting the flag and they're raising the flag. And so I wanted something similar to that in front of originally I had the idea of like new construction with construction trucks all around, and it didn't quite work out. So what we got here is a group of millennial hipster investors holding and planting a Dispo flag on behalf of our Dispo Dragons in front of a rundown, ugly house with construction equipment all around it. That was the prompt, and that's what we got, and I thought it came up pretty good. It worked out pretty good. So that's the image that we have for our slides. That's the back portion of it. Do me a favor, if you're just tuning in, please give me a thumbs up or give me a like so that way I know that the audio is coming through. If you think that there's other people that could benefit from this, there's people that are interested in learning how to wholesale real estate. They're learning how to supplement their income. They're learning how to build a real estate business on the side while they have a current 9-to-5 job or while they have their profession. Please share this video. Share this video with them. You can do it right now. You can just quickly click share button. The more that we share this content, the more that you put it out there, the more likely that they're going to benefit from it, and the more likely that they're going to have success. So if you know of someone that is interested in learning how to wholesale real estate, in learning how to invest in real estate and using wholesaling as an exit strategy, please share this video with them. You can do that right now by just pressing, there's a bunch of different share options on all the different portals and all the different social media platforms. But like, follow, and share. Okay, over 50% of the people that are watching this content are not followers, and they're not subscribers, or they're not fans. No, we're not on OnlyFans, not yet. I haven't decided whether or not I would be able to do this shirtless or not. But anyway, share make sure that you subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, click on the bell icon so that way you could get alerts every time that we go live, especially since we're working on this content for you. Now, identify your life's mission and your life's purpose. We're going to start this training with that. And the reason that we're going to start this training with that is because at the end of the day, most of us didn't wake up, or as kids, we didn't have these dreams of us being this real estate investor, this real estate tycoon, right? That wasn't really our dream. Now, is real estate an excellent vehicle to help you achieve whatever dreams and goals that you have, or anything that you're trying to accomplish? 100% it is. But most of us, it isn't our dream to just go out there, find a house, fix it, flip it, sell it. find a house, fix it, flip the contract, or flip the contract to an investor, assign the contract to a wholesaler. That's not really what your dream is. And so it's very important that you identify what your life's mission is and what it is that you hope to accomplish. Investing in real estate, using wholesaling as a vehicle to help you print cash, as they might say. If you're going to be doing that, you really want to identify what your real dream is and what your passion is, and you can use real estate investing, you can use wholesaling, you can use assigning real estate contracts to other investors. You can use the revenue generated from this business to pursue your life's work, to pursue your life's passion. So it makes it easier to stay in the game when you've identified really what it is that you really want to do, as opposed to I just want to make money wholesaling real estate. Right? Because that's just not going to keep you motivated long enough. So what you want to do is identify your life's purpose, identify your life's mission, whatever it is, and then use real estate investing, and then use wholesaling real estate as the vehicle to help you, fund your life's mission and your life's purpose. If you don't know, I wrote a book. It's called Deal Like a Dove, Dispo Like a Dragon. A little bit of background on the book. If you look at the logo, it is paying homage to the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I really love that movie. I love the whole superhero theme, and I wrote the book in that theme. But more importantly, what I really love about that movie was the story of redemption and being able to, prove to yourself that you're worthy of redemption. You can correct the mistakes that you might have made. So anyway, if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. But that emblem on the top is from the movie poster that they used to promote the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. That's the dove on the left side, and that's the Wolverine, the dragon on the right side. So the name of our book is Deal Like a Dove, Dispo Like a Dragon. It goes into exactly how to build this business. I didn't hold anything back. It was a labor of love. It's 400 pages of how to build this business. It really does teach you how to build a real estate investing business and using wholesaling as a strategy. Now you can click on that QR code if you're watching this on TV, on YouTube. And you can go to our website, dove.dispodragons.com, dove.dispodragons.com, and you can pick up the book and you can read it. Now, if you take a picture of yourself with the book and you order it, I'm going to send you the Audible version for free. For those of you who are thinking to yourself, 400 pages, I can't read 400. I'm not going to read 400 pages. Well, I understand, how some of you might feel, but at the end of the day, what we're talking about here is real estate investing, potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars in sales volume, transactions, assignment fees, commissions, whatever, fix and flip revenue, whatever you want to look at. We're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. There's no way that you're going to be able to cover all that information in just a 20-page ebook, okay? So you pay for what you get for. It's 400 pages of how to build the book. Now, if you tell me, Paul, I'm not a reader, it's just not for me, I can't read. The minute I start opening a book, I start yawning, and within 5 minutes, I fall asleep. I get it. I understand that. No problem. We have an Audible version as well. You can go to audible.dispodragons.com, audible.dispodragons.com. You can pick up the audio version and you can listen to it in your car. For those of you who are commuting, if you have a commute, even if it's just a 20-minute commute to work and back, or 20 minutes to drop off the kids, or whatever it is that you have to do, if you're driving for 20 minutes per day, let's say you go back and forth, that's 40 minutes a day. At the end of the week, that's almost 5 hours of time that you could spend improving yourself, learning this business, learning this craft, learning how to invest in real estate, and using wholesaling as an exit strategy. And you can do that with this Audible book. At the end of the year, do you realize that's 20 hours? If you do that 1 hour a week, 1 hour per day, that's 5 hours a week. That's 20 hours a month. That's 240 hours of you improving yourself and educating yourself in your university on wheels, okay? The book isn't 240 hours, not at all. I'm just saying that this is an opportunity for you to listen to it while you drive. If you don't know who this is, I mean, you recognize this, right? It's Jay-Z and Warren Buffett. Jay-Z, who is already successful in his own right, long before he even met Warren Buffett, he had he had hundreds of millions of dollars already, approached Warren Buffett and said, I want to be a billionaire. And not only do I want to be a billionaire, I want to be a multi-billionaire. And so he sought out Warren Buffett, and he basically said, I want you to mentor me. Now, this is a very famous image now of the two of them in a diner sharing shakes and a Coca-Cola. Warren Buffett and his company, Berkshire Hathaway, are a very, very, very large investor in Coca-Cola and their products, and he loves Coke products, and it's rumored that he has at least one shake a day. So this is an image of them. And, shortly after him being mentored by Warren Buffett, Jay-Z became not only a millionaire, but a multi-billionaire. And not only is he a multi-billionaire, but he also has other people that he has mentored within his organization, within what he calls the Rock Nation, that he has turned into billionaires as well, including Rihanna and a bunch of other people too. So, again, why am I covering this? Well, the significance of this is that if you want to succeed in any endeavor, one of the fastest ways to get there is by finding someone that has already done it and finding a mentor. We have a profit-sharing mentorship within our organization. You can learn more about it by going to start.dispodragons.com, start.dispodragons.com. In our profit-sharing mentorship, it's structured so that the mentee, the student, right, the brand new person, has a mentor assigned to them, a bona fide closer on call to be able to help you with your leads, to be able to help you fill out contracts, to be able to help you make offers, to be able to help you get deals under contract, to be able to help you find buyers, and to be able to help you get those deals closed. You now have someone who's going to walk you through the entire process from A to Z, from end zone to end zone, from cradle to grave. I'm running out of analogies. I don't have another one unless you can think of a good one. Either way, you've got someone now that is going to help you in your business. This is not the same thing as a joint venture. A joint venture is where you have two people that join together for one common venture, and everybody benefits and everybody wins. So you have a seller and somebody else has a buyer. You put the seller and the buyer together. You now have a deal. You split the profits. You go on your merry way, they go off on their merry way. There typically isn't any real mentorship that exchanges hands, right? It doesn't work that way. In a joint venture, it's just I bring the seller, you bring the buyer, we close the deal, we make our money, we're done. With our profit-sharing mentorship, what you have here is a real relationship with someone who is going to walk you through exactly what you need to know in order to be successful at this business. And they have an incentive because they get a percentage of the profits, and you have an incentive because you get a percentage of the profits. And everybody wins. You don't have to feel bad about calling your mentor saying, hey, I need help with this. Hey, I need help with this. I see all of the messages on the Reddit subs. I see all of the postings on the Facebook communities. I see all of the postings on Instagram and comments asking for help. Hey, I'm in this situation. I need help. And we're asking complete and total strangers for help on helping us build our business, when you could have a mentor at your disposal and ready to work with you. So visit start.dispodragons.com. All right, first slide. We're going to talk about how to wholesale real estate. Number one, you need to suspend all doubt. Don't ask, does this work? The real question that you should be asking yourself is, will it work for me if I put in the required effort and time? This is already working. There's no reason for you to doubt this, whether this is going to work or not. It is already working for hundreds and thousands of individuals across the country. They are already doing this. They are already successful. They are already closing deals. This is already happening. So this isn't a question of, does this work? It works. There are plenty of people that do this already and make a very good living doing this. And there are some people that make a part-time living doing this on the side whenever they can get to it, whenever they have time for it, right? So don't ask yourself, hey, does this work? No, it does work. The question is, will you put in the effort and the time to learn the things that you need to learn in order for you to have the success that you want to have in this business? Second thing is, Comparison is the thief of progress and joy. You don't want to compare yourself to everybody else. So when you're looking at this, if you've been in the business for a short period of time, if you've been in this for a few months, if you've been in this for a year, if you've been in this for a few years and you're not quite where you want to be, and you see people posting, their closing statements, you see people posting pictures of them at the title company talking about the new property that they just purchased. You see people taking pictures of themselves with their checks. You see people posting images of their wire transfers. Those are all fine and dandy. Congratulations to them. God bless them. And if God bless them, then God can bless you and he can bless me. All right. So here's the thing. When you start comparing where you are versus where they're at, it steals your joy. It steals your passion for building this business. You don't need to compare your chapter 1 to their chapter 10. You don't know what they did to get there. You don't know the time and effort that they put in. You don't know how many other failed businesses they may have had before they got involved in this profession. You don't know how many contracts they lost before that one closed. There is so much information behind the scenes that you are not aware of. And so for you to just for you to have an impression of what's going on just based on one photo or one highlight reel is not going to do you any good. So don't compare where you're at to anybody else. The second thing is you need to give this business the respect and the time and the attention that it deserves. Are there people that have worked this business part-time? Yes, but the people that are successful and work this business part-time around their career or around something else that they do, those are typically the people that have a structured schedule. So yeah, they might be working it part-time, but they're putting in 1 to 2 hours every day consistently, for a period of time before they start to see results. So give it the respect, give it the time, and give it the attention that it deserves. Don't treat this business like a hobby, or it will respect you back like a hobby. Don't treat this business like your side chick or your side chuck, or it will treat you back the exact same way. Stay focused on one strategy, master one technique. This is important. I've said this before. There are a lot of different strategies that you can use to be successful in this business. We're not going to go into all of the strategies today because there's just too many of them. So we have a wide variety of training within our YouTube channel and within our school community, if you go in there, where we cover these things in an organized fashion where you can see all of the different strategies. Some strategies are going to resonate with you more than others. There are some people that really, really like cold calling. I know it sounds crazy, but they just love being on the phones. They love talking to people. They love, having conversations with people. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is their strategy of choice. Then there are going to be other people who really love using DMs. They love going in there and they love contacting people using Facebook Marketplace, and they're sending out anywhere between 50 to 100 messages a day, and then they're having multiple conversations with sellers using Facebook Marketplace. There's some people that love SMS marketing, text message marketing, and they know how to market appropriately and legally within the guidelines of the FCC and all the other stuff that requires. I don't know all the acronyms. You're gonna have to forgive me. But the point is, they like marketing with SMS text messages. There's some people that like voicemail drops. I mean, there's so many different strategies. Probate. I can go on and on and on and on. But the point is, you want to stay focused on just one strategy. Pick one that resonates with you, master that one strategy, and then get to work, okay? Master one. Don't start flip-flopping from one strategy to the next saying, oh, I haven't gotten any results with this and I've been doing it for 2 weeks. Look, if you can't commit to something for at least 90 days every day for the next 90 days to build it, don't start it. Don't start that strategy until you're ready to commit to it for at least 90 days every day. Next slide. So what do we do? Let's talk about this. This is also very important. What is it exactly that we do when we wholesale real estate? Because I think a lot of new people have the wrong impression of what it is that we do. We identify opportunities for real estate investors by structuring Win-win deals with sellers. So this is something that I think people who are brand new, they just assume, oh, I have to go out there and I have to talk to sellers and I need to make them offers at like 50%, 60%, 70% of ARV, get it under contract, and then go find a buyer that I can sell it to by adding an extra $10,000 to $20,000 on. And it sounds very, I win, they lose, or they win, I lose. It shouldn't sound like that, okay? That is not the type of business that we are in. What we do is we identify opportunities for real estate investors, and then we structure the deal with the seller so that it's a win-win situation for everybody. It's a win-win situation for the seller. It's a win-win situation for the investor or the buyer. It's a win-win situation for you because you're able to make money in the form of an assignment fee. Your job is to identify opportunities and to then structure those deals so that everybody wins. This is not about me taking advantage of the seller. This is not about you gouging a seller or trying to steal someone's equity. This is not about you trying to see how much of a assignment fee you can get from that buyer. This is about creating a win-win opportunity so that everybody walks away from the negotiating table as if feeling as if they won. Yes, just you have to give a little bit? Sure. Did the seller have to give a little bit? Sure. Would you have to give a little bit? Maybe a little bit in the assignment fee. Does the buyer have to come up sometimes a little bit in price and just budge a little bit? Absolutely. This is all part of the process. But when you start thinking of it in terms of you win, I lose, then that's where you start to have problems. We identify opportunities for real estate investors by structuring win-win deals with sellers. Okay, very different mindset shift. What are the opportunities? Well, the opportunities are properties that we can add value to. Typically, the best type of properties that we can add value to are going to be the properties that are ugly houses. They're in bad shape. They're in bad condition. The other type of properties that we can add value to are properties that have tenants in them with very low-paying rents or non-paying tenants. And you, once you've mastered this skill, you have the ability to negotiate with the tenants to relocate them, to get them out, offering them cash for keys. There's a variety of different ways to do that, but that's another way to add value to the property. And another way to add value to the property is maybe the property is just a lipstick fixer, a cosmetic fixer. And so what you do is you work with the seller to make improvements to the property at your own expense, and then you convince the seller not convince, but you work with the seller, and the seller gives you the authorization to hire or fire an agent to put the property on the market. I mean, there's so many different ways for you to add value in addition to you helping the seller relocate. In addition to you, if it's a hoarder's house, helping the seller, trash it out. There's so many different ways, but you're looking for opportunities where you can add value and then creative ways to make those deals work. Right? Again, what did we talk about earlier? Win-win. This is a win-win. This is not a you win, they lose. That's not how this works. So opportunities are any situation or any type of property where you can add value to the situation. I think I used the word situation too many times there. I'm sorry. Why do we do this? Let's talk about why we do this. Well, sellers need us. I know that sounds crazy. And I know that that's a crazy thing to hear. Sellers need us, but sellers do need us. And when you have that mindset, you'll understand why. Again, win-win. Investors need us. Okay, we'll talk about why investors need us. Communities need us. Okay, we're going to talk about why the communities need us. But believe it or not, there is a need for you and your service as a real estate investor and as a real estate investor who uses wholesaling as an exit strategy. Now, why would a seller need you? Number one, not all homes qualify for traditional financing. That's just a reality. I was on the phone this morning with a real estate agent. So for those of you who don't know, I'm also a real estate broker in California and in Florida and in Nevada. And I had a client that approached me about a property that they wanted for sale. And they said, hey, can you find some information out on this for me? And I called the real estate agent up and I asked her, hey, is this still available? And we were talking about financing. And I said, well, my client wants to come in conventional. And she immediately said, this property is not going to qualify for conventional financing. It has to be an all cash deal. The property is in really, really bad shape. And a bank is not going to lend a borrower money to buy this property. Not all homes are going to qualify for it. They're just not. All right, and sometimes it's little things. Sometimes it's chip paints. Sometimes it's cracked windows. Sometimes it's not having a water heater. Sometimes it's having faulty plumbing. Sometimes it's having a roof that is obviously in bad shape. If an appraiser calls these items out, the house isn't going to qualify for financing. Now, what are the options then? If a house has repairs that prevent it from being financed, the options are the seller can fix it. The seller can fix it, or the real estate agent can fix it, or the real estate investor, or the real estate wholesaler can fix it. So here's the thing though. Some sellers cannot afford and or don't want to make repairs to the property. What if you have a seller that says, I don't have any money, I don't want to make any repairs? Well, again, creative win-win situations. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I can come in and I can help, make some of those repairs for you. Now, Paul, what are you teaching me? I don't have any money to be able to make those repairs. You're absolutely right. But do you think that there's a possibility that you could find a contractor or a general contractor that you could be working with, or a handyman that might be willing to be able to do those repairs for you based on your relationship with them? And oh, by the way, they might be able to charge a little bit more in the form of a premium because they're not getting paid up front. So you explain to the general contractor, you explain to the handyman, listen, the seller doesn't have any money. I'm not going to be able to pay for this up front. But I'll tell you what, whatever you would normally charge, you can charge an additional premium of, say, anywhere from 20 to 30%. Nothing excessive. We're not talking about taking advantage of anybody. But what we are talking about is, if they're going to be doing this pro bono initially and waiting for their money, then yes, they deserve to have some type of a premium tacked on for their service. So you find a contractor that's willing to do that for you. Hopefully you have a relationship with them. They charge a little bit more to be able to make those repairs, right? And then they're paid through the title company or through the escrow company. That's one strategy. I'm just giving you different ideas. See, what happens is once Pandora's box is opened, right? And once you start to get these creative juices flowing, you look at an opportunity completely differently, right? You treat it differently, because what's going through your heads now is you are looking for ways to solve problems. You are looking for solutions. You're not just looking at a seller or a house as, oh, I'm going to offer you 30% or 50% of the ARV, and then I'm going to go assign it to a real estate investor. That's not how this works. The more you're able to provide solutions and come up with creative ways to make it a win-win situation, the more valuable you become. So if seller says, I don't have the money to make those repairs, what are your options? Well, your options are you do what I just talked to you about with the contractor, or you front the money, or, worst case scenario, the seller says, I don't want anybody to touch my house. I don't want anybody to do the repairs. I just want to get out of here, and I want my cash, and I want it fast. I want it fast. I want it easy. I want my cash. Well, if that's what they're asking for, then you can go to plan B, which is, okay, let's figure out how we can get them an all cash offer. And at that point, you would structure it accordingly. It would be either the 50%, 60%, whatever the ARV is, whatever model formula you want to use. Some sellers don't want people coming into their homes. Okay, that's just another reason. They don't want people coming into their house. They don't want people walking through. They don't want to do open houses. They don't want anybody to see them. Maybe they're embarrassed. There's a variety of different reasons, right? Some sellers don't want to use an agent. They just don't want to use an agent. Maybe they've had a bad experience with an agent. Or, how about this? Maybe they have a friend or multiple friends, or they have family who are licensed. In the state of California, almost everybody has a real estate license in California. Almost everyone has a real estate license here. And so if you have, a family member, you have multiple family members with a real estate license, and you don't want to cause, any problems within your family, you don't want to ruffle any feathers, you don't want to make any waves. I like using analogies. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'll use multiple analogies, like once, twice, three. I'll use three analogies to say the exact same thing. Ruffle any feathers, make any waves. They don't want to do that. So because they're licensed, they won't use their family member. They don't want anybody in the family to do it. They want to go use somebody else. So anyway, they don't want to use an agent. Some sellers need a guaranteed fast cash close. Some of them need a fast close. Real estate investors, when they run their numbers right, are able to make offers based on, based on their research. So they're going to make an offer, and they're going to make that offer, and they can probably guarantee it. A really good real estate investor will tell a seller, look, this is my best and final offer. This is what I can offer you, and they can guarantee the close, most of the good ones. When you put it on the market, that isn't always the case, okay? Because if you put it on the market, an agent's job, their fiduciary responsibility as your agent, is to try to get the highest price possible. Now, there's a variety of different strategies that you can use to do that, but those also take time. Whereas with an investor, they can come in, make an offer, guarantee a close, and then close it quick. And then lastly, we offer creative solutions. These are all the reasons that sellers do need us. There is a place for you as a real estate investor and as a real estate wholesaler. I am not saying that there is no place or there isn't a need for a real estate agent or a real estate broker. There truly is a need for them as well. I just don't like people saying, oh, you don't need a real estate investor or you shouldn't use a wholesaler. Everything has to go through a real estate agent, because that's absolutely not true. People have been buying and selling real estate for years without using a real estate agent or a real estate broker. There is a need for them. There is a role that they should play in this market, but that doesn't mean that they have to be a part of every real estate transaction or that they need to be a part of every real estate transaction. And that's not me speaking. There are plenty of sellers that feel the exact same way. Why do investors need you? Well, investors are good at what they do. Right? They know what they typically tend to stay in their lane, and they're not necessarily good at prospecting or marketing or finding opportunities. So they're good at analyzing a deal, fixing it, flipping it, selling it. They're good at, looking at a multifamily property, getting the tenants in or getting the tenants out and raising the rents and repairing the property. They're good at adding value and doing that stuff. Most of them aren't necessarily good at the marketing and the grinding to find these sellers. If they're a real estate investor, a lot of them are like, I want to go out and find my projects and work on my projects. I don't want to be sitting at home, cold calling for 2 or 3 hours. My time is more valuable working on my fix and flips. They also want to invest time in their craft. I already covered that. Fix and flips are a long-term strategy, and many don't want to be distracted. Okay? They don't want to be distracted by anything else. They want to stay in their lane. Let me do what I do. You want to find me land? Find me land so I can focus on my development opportunities. You want to find me fix and flips? Find me fix and flips so that I can focus on fixing them, flipping them. You want to find me creative sub-2 deals? Find me some more deals so that I could take over those mortgages. They don't want to take the time to distract themselves the way we do when we are marketing and looking for sellers. All right? That's one of the reasons that investors do really need you. Why does your community need you? Number one, safety. Right? Nobody wants to be next to the ugly, halfway burned down house where, a lot of things could happen, right? It's a hazard. It's a hazard to the community. It's a hazard to you, right? If there are squatters in the property, if people are in there and they're lighting fires to stay warm, it could be a potential life-threatening hazard if there's children that are in there playing or jumping the fence. Look, kids do crazy things, and if they hop into a property that's halfway fallen down, what do you think could happen? Or worse yet, what if they're attacked or, assaulted in one of those properties? So for just the safety alone is one of the reasons that your community needs you when it comes to these houses. We increase property values. Okay, you doing what you do increase property values. We're not going to get into into a discussion or a debate over the gentrification of neighborhoods and how it's pricing people out. Look, I'm just not going to get into that debate. All right. The reality is we do increase property values, and the community and the neighbors appreciate the increase in values. They appreciate it. The people that don't appreciate it are obviously the people that have not yet purchased any real estate, or the people that are just sitting on the sidelines, waiting for the interest rates to go down, waiting for the market to crash. And a lot of times, if you have those discussions with the people who say that they're waiting, they're always waiting. They wait all the time. They wait for the market to crash. They wait for the interest rates to drop. They wait for the timing to be right. They wait for their savings to go up. At the end of the day, there will never be the right time to take action in anything, even wholesaling real estate. I was conversing with somebody today, and they were telling me all the stuff that they do, and they showed me their outlines, and they had pages and pages of outlines and notes and ideas and thoughts. It was like a manifesto on wholesaling, and I thought to myself, Jesus, this is amazing what it is that you did. It's highly organized. It's like something out of a Russell Crowe movie from The Beautiful Mind, where you just see all this data flowing through. And I said, you realize that there are people who are a lot less smarter than you, a lot less organized than you, a lot less talented than you, making a lot more money than you, wholesaling real estate, right? You realize that. And it's because all they did was they took action. They took action. They went out there and they started working. Same thing goes for people who sit on the sidelines and not, they don't try to buy. And I made this mistake for a long time. I had convinced myself that, like, the interest rates were too high, or I couldn't do this, or I couldn't do that. They sell themselves that idea. It'll never be the right time. It just never will. So for those of you who are saying to yourself, I can't buy a house, or I can't do that. Yes, you can. You just have to find a way to do it and get creative with it. There's always a way. There is always a way to do it. Okay. So number 3, nobody wants to live next to or near an ugly house. They don't want to do it. Who wants it? Listen, if you've ever lived next to an ugly house, especially one that's like a hoarder house, or one that's really bad, or one that smells, it's bad when you live next to a house. Even if you're not right next door, you live a couple houses down, and you can smell, trash and garbage and feces, and like there. I'm not going to go into some of the stuff that we've seen, but it's pretty bad, okay? And it affects the neighborhood, and it affects the people around the property. We're making a difference in communities. We really, really are. So anyway, that's why your community needs you. Where can you wholesale? Number 1, most major metro markets. Okay, almost every major metro market there you can wholesale in. We're not going to get into this debate either about how some states you should do it. Some states are red, some states are blue, some states are landlord friendly, some states are tenant friendly. It doesn't matter. There's people in every major metro market that are succeeding doing this business. All right, don't sell yourself this idea that it can't be done in a particular market just because a high-profile influencer who is successful in this business is telling you not to do that. Don't sell yourself on that idea. You can do this in most major metro markets. Okay, avoid rural. I want you to avoid rural. Rural is challenging. Unless you really want to become an expert in rural marketing of land and rural properties and farmland and agriculture, unless that's something that you have a major passion for and it's something that you are just, interested in, I would avoid it. Okay, I would avoid it. Again, if you're focusing on your single family or your multifamily or other types of land, that where you can construct on, to go into rural can be challenging for you. So in my opinion, I would avoid rural. Again, I'm contradicting myself, because are there people that are successful? Sure, but they specialize in that. That's what they do. If you're bouncing around from, I'm doing single family today, then I'm doing land tomorrow, then I'm doing rural, it's not going to happen. In my opinion, I would avoid rural. Emerging markets. So make sure that you're taking a look at all the markets that are growing, where there is investor activity. If you see that in a particular city prices are rising or prices are declining or the sales volume, you can just Google where are the most sales in real estate happening right now. What city has the most sales? Go there. That's where you want to start working, even if you have to do this virtually, because those are the markets where you want to be and where there is a lot of activity. Number 4, be smart about pricing. And when I say pricing, I'm talking about your offers. So if you are in a market and you're working a market where prices are on the decline, you have to be even more aggressive about the offers that you're going to be submitting, because it is in a declining market. But Paul, didn't you say that this is supposed to be a win-win strategy? And if you're telling me to be even more aggressive with my offer to the seller, doesn't that affect them? Yes, but you are not the one determining that market is declining. That is an economic, condition that you have zero control over. You don't have any control over the declining market. You are making your offer, and you're making your offer, your best offer, based on the data that you are provided. And if you're doing it in good faith in a declining market, then you're not doing it to take advantage of the seller. You're doing it as an educated decision based on what the numbers are telling you. Okay, there's a big difference. All right, so be smart about your pricing and your offering. When can you wholesale? You can wholesale around your schedule, entirely around your schedule. All right, so if you have a 9 to 5, you can do it in the mornings from 5 to 7 if you have to. You can do it in the evenings from 5 to 9 if you have to. Take advantage of time zones. So if you are out on the East Coast, you know that by the time you get home around 5 or 6 o'clock, you have dinner at around 7. It's still 4 o'clock out on the West Coast. And so you can work the West Coast markets. If you are on the West Coast, you can wake up early, and from 5 to 7, you can be working the East Coast. But, take advantage of the markets. You can do this around your schedule. Take advantage of the different time zones. If you're working the Hawaii market, that's cool, because Hawaii market for the East Coast is 6 hours behind, if I'm not mistaken, and 3 hours behind out on the West Coast. So that's a cool market to work in, and there's some great properties in Hawaii. All right, how do you wholesale real estate now? Paul, you've covered a lot of information, and you're barely getting to the how. Well, sort of. I'm not going to go into this in-depth training on how to do it. Really, what I wanted to do was cover the basics so that people have an understanding of it. It's an assembly line. It's an assembly line process. Very, very important. Number one, there's acquisitions, which is you getting a seller under contract. There's dispositions, dispo, which is you selling the contract, assigning the contract to an end buyer. Then there's closing, right? And that is during the process where you are in contract now and the contract has been delivered to an escrow company, a title company, a closing attorney. They now manage the closing process. You're going to want to have some type of a transaction coordinator coordinating that closing process for you. And then there's marketing. These are all the big four parts of a wholesale business, right? You're going to need acquisitions, you're going to need dispositions, you're going to need closing, and you're going to need marketing. Those are the four divisions that you're going to have to build. We're not going to go into how to build those things. We'll talk about that in future videos and future trainings, but it's an assembly line. That's how you wholesale real estate: acquisitions, dispositions, closing, and marketing. How do you manage? All right, so how do you manage doing all of this stuff? Well, I've already talked about why you need to get a mentor, but I stress this a lot. You want to find someone that can help you build this business and walk you through the process. I've already gone over our profit sharing mentorship and why I believe it is one of the best ones out there, because you literally have someone who is going to walk you through the entire process, and they have an incentive to do it because they are earning a percentage of the profits, as are you. Everybody wins. So get a mentor. You can join a team. That's another thing that you should consider, right? If you're just getting started and you want to figure out how to do this, you can join a team. I'll do another training on joining teams and what role you can play. You can start out with them on their acquisition side, on their dispo side, on their marketing side. You could handle their closing for them. You just join them and you'll be a part of their process. Now, you're not going to get a salary, or you may, I don't know, but you're probably not going to get a salary. You'll be compensated on a per close basis, but at least this way you have some experience and you're able to learn by working with somebody else. So that's another way to gain experience. And then the last thing is you get a JV partner. That's another way to learn this business, is by finding a JV partner. But as I mentioned earlier, a JV partner typically just helps you close the deal. They don't necessarily have the time, because they're building their business as well, to sit there and mentor you or walk you through the entire process. All right, so hopefully I've covered enough information to where you have a general understanding of how how the wholesale process works. For more information, you can visit our Dollar Club. It is $1 to join. It is lifetime access. You go to school.dispodragons.com. The reason I'm going to suggest that you do that as well is because now you are part of a thriving community of other people who are just like you, other people who are trying to succeed in this business. It's one thing for you to have access to information. Let's be real. There's a ton of information out there. You can hop onto YouTube. You can hop onto TikTok. You can hop onto Instagram. There are videos galore with people covering this information on how to do that. But it's another thing to have a tribe of people who are of like mind, who are all working towards one common goal. And when you have that, it's much easier versus you feeling like you're a one-person island. So my suggestion is join. It's $1 for lifetime access. School.dispodragons.com. As always, please make sure that you like and follow us. Make sure that you subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure that you click on the bell icon, so that way you can get alerts. And lastly, please share this information. If you think that there's someone out there who could benefit from what it is that we're covering, by all means, share this video with them, share our page with them, so that way they can also learn. The rising tide lifts all boats. And when we all succeed together, everybody wins. And that's what this is all about. So follow, and share. All right, I hope you have a great day. If you have any questions or you have any comments, please put them down in the comment section of this video. If you need help with the deal, send me a direct message and we can talk about how, the deal, how to restructure it if we need to restructure it, or if you just want us to put it in front of the right buyers who could potentially purchase that deal. That's what we do. We dispo. So if you have a deal, you need help getting it sold, come to us, send me a direct message. If you have a deal, we also buy. So I'd love to take a look at that deal as an investor first. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Talk soon.